This is a sneak peek into KrafterPRO version 1.0. This is a Divi 5 design system. This design system makes it easy for you to design websites using Divi 5. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is how grid systems are used in vanilla Divi 5. So this is what you get out of the box with Divi 5. So let's say, for example, you want to add this grid. So typically you would go in there and add an item. So let's say this is a text module like that. So what I'm going to do here is to duplicate this a few times and then drag these into the right column. Okay, so this is using grid. So let's say I want to get rid of these bottom ones. All I have to do is to click on rows, go to elements, and these are the columns here. So I can delete them like that. Now, the challenge that you get with this grid system is when you start making things mobile responsive, you get a problem. Now, let me show you what I mean. I'm going to save here. And then I'm going to do a preview on the front end. Okay, so this is what we've just created. So if I do a right click and inspect, and then I try to make this smaller, notice what happens. Okay, it's reacting well, but you see everything just stays and these columns get ridiculously tiny. This is not a good experience for users that use mobile devices as you're designing your website. And this out of the box is not how these grids are supposed to be reacting. Thankfully, in KrafterPRO, we have a solution to this. So what I'm going to do is to delete this, and then I'm going to go in, add a single column, and add our text module like that. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just duplicate this 3 times, but this time around, look how easy it is. I'm going to now go to row settings, go to our elements, and then select my column. And then on the top here, I can just select and choose my column. So for example, I've got 3 items here. I need a 3-column grid. Boom. That's my 3-column grid. It's clean and it is mobile responsive. Okay, so let's test this. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do a quick refresh. And now it looks the same, doesn't it? But when I start making it smaller, do you see how the columns change? And then when it gets to a mobile device, boom, it now changes. You see that? So this is how design is supposed to be in Divi 5 if you want to do a responsive design. So this is our brand new. We have 4 grid columns. We even have up to 8. Up to 8. So if you wanted to add items in here, so let's say, for example, right now I have 6, and you decide, you know what, you want to have a 6-column grid. Boom. I can just come over here, add 6, and there we are. We have our 6 columns, and it's just like that. And this is mobile responsive. So if I were to save this and then do a quick refresh here, you'll again notice that when I make this smaller, you see that the grid is working and it looks perfect. And once I get to the mobile device, it is going to go to 2 columns like that, or a single column. Okay, so this is a much easier way to use grids. And as you know, grids are very, very important in design. You're going to be using grid systems so many times as you're designing your websites in Divi 5, because Flexbox is not your solution to laying out things all the time. Okay, so that's our first example. The next thing I want to show you is our glass effect. So let's just quickly go into our section settings here. And I'm going to make sure that this is set to, let's say, extra large. We're going to add an image in the background. So I'm going to come over here and then add our image in the background. Let's go with this one. Okay, great. So now that I have my image, I'm going to go in here and add a single column. And in that column, I am going to add a text module. Now, of course, this text module doesn't look great. I need to give it a bit of padding around it. So I'm going to select here and then go to design. So over here now, I'm going to go to spacing. And this is where I want to go padding all large. Okay, that's great. And I also want to change the text itself. Now notice what we have now. This is also an update. I'm going to come over here and choose my text. I'm going to say text large. Okay, but if I want to change this quickly into a light version, notice that we don't have that long list of all the colors here. This time around, you come over here to text and then just choose light. Okay, so now we have your light text. So now I can go into my row settings And this is where we have our glass effect. Boom. Just like that. Now we have our glass effect. So I can go in and add all my borders if I need to. So I can come over here and say border radius small, and now you have a clean border radius. Now, of course, you have to be very careful with this because you need to make sure you have a background that is great enough so that it leaves your text readable. So let's say I change this image. I can come over here to my section and then go to our background. And let's say we choose a totally different image. I think this one here should work really well. There we go. So you see that? That looks even much better. So we can design our layouts with this glass effect, and it is very easy to implement. So this is also something that we are adding onto our new version. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is also really exciting. It's to do with text. So I'm going to go in and add a single column. Right, so let's start adding our text. So I am going to go in and add a text module like that. And let's get rid of some of this text here. You'll see in a moment why. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is to go in here and add a heading. And then I'm also going to add a description text. So let's go ahead and add that. Excellent. So now we have all our text. So what I'm going to do quickly here is to show you how easy it is to go in and add our new text updates. So this one here, I am going to set this to a new item. It's called a badge. So I can go in and set this to a badge. Do you see that? And then here I can set this to, let's say, a heading, but I want to go with display small. There we go. And then this one here is going to be our text large. I'm going to come over here and say text large. There we go. Now I can go in and adjust my sizes. So I'm going to go to elements and then columns. So if I need like really good spacing, I can now go into design and then under layouts, I can start with gap 0, and then I can go in and start adding the right sizing. So for example, over here, I can go to margin top. I've also added 2x small. Okay, so for those little small elements that we may need to design in the future, you know, we now have the sizes. So I'm going to come over here, and this one here is going to be, it's going to be, let's go with medium, sorry. Okay, so now that we have this, all I have to do is to come in here and make sure that my column is set to content row. Now, if it needs to be set to text row, I can always go in and set this to wide text row. So you can see now that this is looking great. Now, at any point, if I need to change this into light mode, I can just quickly select my background here and make my background dark. And by the way, I've also added colors here, very easy to access. So I can go in and say BG dark. Boom. Okay, now I need to change the text. I can just come over here, go into design, heading text, and I can say light. And then this one here, same thing, and text, light. And then if I need to change this badge, I can always go in and change it as well into a different color. So here we have our K badge. We can go badge primary, and now we have a primary badge. So as you can see, this is a much easier workflow. And by the way, this is mobile responsive. You can see there, the heading is getting smaller. If I do that, you know, everything's pretty much in place and it is responsive. So this is a really powerful design system. Now there's also other things here that you may also find interesting. I've added micro animations. So let's add, let's say, okay, let's add 3 blurbs. Okay, so I'm going to add a blurb here and let's do 3 of them. And then I'm going to go into this row and go into elements, choose the column. So with this, okay, first of all, we need to change the columns into, let's say, 3 grid. I mean, I can do auto grid if I need to. This is also fine. Okay, so with this now, let's just say quickly save this. I can add macro animations to this. So I'm going to first of all select this one here. Now this is the default you get from Elegant Themes, but of course we don't want to spend time designing that. Thankfully, KrafterPRO has these designs preset. So I can go in and choose that. Now my text is the right size, my heading is the right size, pretty much everything now is the right size. So what's really cool now is if I select this and go to advanced, and then over here we have our attributes. Now we also have these macro animations, micro animations. I am going to do a card hover. Select that, save. Now this is going to be super exciting. So let's refresh this now. Okay, so you can see here we have our blurb. Now if I do that, do you see that? The hover is nice, it's clean, it can be applied pretty much anywhere across the whole design. Now there's also another macro animation. It's used on buttons, but I'm just going to quickly use it here so you can see how it works. So I'm going to go into my attributes here and say button press. Okay, let's save that. And then over here, I'm going to do a quick refresh. So now check this out. If I do a button press, do you see that? That little animation there, it just makes your design super nice, super clean and interactive. Now I'll be adding a lot of these macro animations. This is why this update has taken a bit of time, but you can see here, I mean, things are going to be really, really exciting. So with all these macro animations, it's going to be very, very easy to make our websites look really, really awesome. Right, so the next thing I want to talk about as well is the colors. So in fact, let's just go through the whole thing that I've added here. So first of all, we've added extra small text. There was a request that this is needed. So now we have extra small text. We also have the eyebrow, the badge, and these are the three badge colors. And then moving on, we have our presets for our notices. Okay, so what I want to show you is right here. All our colors there are all added and they all work automatically. We have our borders as well. And all these are all our presets. So as you can see, this is pretty much everything that you need when you start designing. So this visually shows you how the padding is on a 2XS. Okay, so these are the sizes. And then we also have the margins, and this is what I also need to finish off. Okay, so we're going to get rid of how we do it this way. So these are all our row settings, and guys, all this is mobile responsive, and everything now over here in all these presets is all replaced with our fluid typography, which means everything is going to be responsive and it's going to work great on all devices. Out of the box, this is the way you want to be designing your websites. Over here, I also have the light version of these icons. This was also an update, and I also have the dark version. So now we have three of them, which means we can use those at any given time. Okay, so I think pretty much that's it. There's a lot of updates that have also happened. I've redone the spacing scale and also the fluid typography scale as well. That has also been revamped to make it even much better. Anyway guys, I thought I'll just give you a quick sneak peek. If you haven't purchased KrafterPRO, there's a $40 discount. You need to purchase this ASAP because when I launch this fully, it is going to increase its price. And I'm telling you, this is one of those tools that you're going to need if you're going to be designing websites with Divi 5. You cannot design websites like you used to in Divi 4. It is impossible. If you want chaos, then start designing things manually. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. And oh, I forgot to mention, this is also going to come with full documentation and full training. So just a few days ago, you know, Divi 5 has been released. So now I can fully go into this and make sure that everything is in place. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.